Welcome back. This is episode 150 of the NYYST podcast. I am your host, Christian. As always, joined by my co-host, Chris.
Yo!
And Stat Guy, Rye.
What up?
What's going on, fellas?
What up?
Not much.
You feeling okay, Rye?
I'm great.
Last week, you were a little under the weather.
Yeah, dude, I was not feeling well. I didn't want to get everybody sick.
He was sicky.
I'm feeling better now. Thanks for asking.
No problem, bro, because I'm a quality human being, and I care about other people and how they feel.
Though?
Mm-hmm.
Are you?
I just don't care about how you feel. That doesn't mean how I feel about other people.
Right.
Does that clarify things for you?
Clarified.
So we actually have some. Actually, before we get to that, how about a request for a 5-star rating and review
Please.
on iTunes?
How about that?
From the fan base out there?
If you're not a douchebag, head to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating and review.
Even if you are, we'll take.
Even
one.
if you are a douchebag, we will take one from you.
And go to YouTube and subscribe to the show if you want to watch us. And
If you want to watch me, watch you, watch the game.
Okay. Watch me watch the game.
Today is we're doing week 2 of the Keep 'em Dump 'ems, and we actually flubbed here because we'll get to this in a second. We should have known. We should have did our
Chapman.
homework a little better. And 2 guys that are going to be voted on next week should have been voted on either last week or this week because
Yeah, but you know what, bro? Let me give you a little credit here. You say time and time again, it's not about what the Yankees are going to do, whatever. It's about you as the voter, right? So maybe there's a lot of people out there that wouldn't have kept Chapman.
Yeah, but it's going to influence the voting now.
It definitely will. We fucked up.
Well, technically you did because I let you pick the groupings.
No.
that's
You
not Chris.
chose the initial names.
I chose the 15 names, correct, but I let you choose the groupings and when they would be voted on.
You know when you know the character of someone?
Sorry. I stepped on
When
Ryan's foot.
they
Sorry.
are in a moment like you are and they just throw someone under the bus.
But I initially said we flubbed.
Now it's me.
But now it's you, so now I have to give all the blame to you because then I realized that I left it up to you when this was supposed to be your decision.
Garbage human being.
Yeah, you are a garbage.
Who was the
human
other one?
being. Edwin Encarnacion.
Right,
The Yankees
right.
declined his.
But they could
Option.
still sign him. They're
I
not
don't-
going to.
I don't see it happening. They bought out his 2020 option for $5 million.
They're not going to. But they could.
I think we'll get into him further next week. I just think the postseason really left a lot. In the ALCS left a sour taste in everybody's mouth.
It was almost like it reminded me a lot of Starlin Castro a couple years ago when he was like a guy we all loved and he did great in the regular season. Then he just had that really shitty
Yeah,
postseason.
but they also traded him for Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, but right away, right after that, you said it. Castro's probably going to be gone. You just had that feeling. You knew they weren't going to pick up Encarnacion after that shit performance.
Okay. So first thing up here, we waited because we found out that then it was Aroldis Chapman had to make a decision by 12:01 Sunday morning on what the opt-out was going to be, which I didn't realize, but apparently it was that there was a timetable on it.
12:01.
Thank you. Are you the parrot now? Since Edwin Encarnacion was gone?
12:01.
You got to give a lot of respect for Chapman because there were rumors during the year, I think, that he was planning on opting out, and he shut them down immediately during the year and said he wants to be a New York Yankee and made his word.
Yeah, man.
Because he's going to be voted on in the Keep 'em Dump 'ems next week, I think we should leave the emotion out of it and
Yeah.
really break down that part of it next week of whether we want him here or not. But it's going to be kind of hard to do that without giving an opinion on the contract. He did not opt out, and because of that, the Yankees extended him past 2021. He gets an additional year for 2022 at $18 million a year. So he's going to play the next 2 seasons under his current deal for $30 million over the next 2 seasons. So essentially, he's got 3 years and $48 million left on his contract.
I thought it was a friendly deal. I thought Chapman could have gotten more if he went out there.
Could he have?
Yeah.
How old is Craig Kimbrell?
I don't know, but
Because Aroldis Chapman is going to be 32 heading into the season.
yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. I just see the way Chapman has transformed himself and kind of
Chapman will turn 32 in February, and Craig Kimbrell is how old right now?
31.
He's going to turn 32 in May, so they're basically the same age.
I just feel like Chapman's kind of reinvented himself a little bit and shown that he could sustain his quality of, pitches for a longer amount of time.
All right, but the precedent was already set on a top-tier closer.
Yeah, no, you're right. No one really wants to hit free agency anymore. Right? I mean, that's the general consensus here.
So it was a smart idea on Chapman's part, and to not opt out, he gets to keep the $30 million, and he gets an additional 18 for not opting out.
And come on, you think he doesn't want another shot at this to be in game 6 or 7 and not give up the walk-off home run and take this team to the World Series and hopefully win it?
Craig Kimbrell might be one of the ugliest human beings.
I fucking hate him. I hate his guts. I actually hate his guts. He looks like a fucking gremlin. That's what he looks like to me.
He looks like a garden gnome.
Garden gnome, that's it.
Ugh.
He does. I fucking hate him.
What was I going to say? We're going to speak on Aroldis Chapman as a baseball player, not a human being, because I know a lot of what Twitter wants to discuss is the incident back before he was traded to the Yankees. He was suspended for domestic altercation, and, the Yankees still decided to trade for him and then sign him back and now give him another extension. So if you want to get into the moral ambiguities of it all, that's fine, but we're going to keep it baseball related. And I'm not saying I condone anything that happened or didn't happen. I've read the reports. It's getting into a fight with your girlfriend, regardless of whether you hit her, you didn't hit her. There's a lot of disputed reports on that. He did get into an altercation with her. He decided to vent. He was going to shoot a gun in his garage. So it does.
Yeah, I mean, that's normal.
So it's not that I condone it. I just want to talk about this this is a baseball podcast. So we want to talk about this on a baseball level. And
if you want us to do a psychology podcast
on a baseball level, I don't think that letting Aroldis Chapman go would have been a good idea.
No, it would have been a very dumb idea.
Would the Yankees have been okay if Aroldis Chapman opts out and goes sign another team?
Yeah, because I think it's time to stop putting so much stock into the bullpen. I think it's fun. I think it's great. I think it's just always a great security to have a dominant bullpen like the Yankees have had, but you don't need it. You just don't, right? You don't if you're going to have some elite starting pitching. And the Nationals prove that. Congrats to the Nationals, by the way.
Yeah, the Nationals won the World Series, so good for them.
I mean, the Nationals prove that. Right.
What a crazy World Series.
Yeah.
What a great World Series. It's a shame like 3 people watched it. Like we're the only 3 people, I think, that watched the whole fucking thing. But it's a shame because it was a great World Series. And I'm not just saying that because the Astros lost. I mean, I thought it was a great World Series all around.
You watched like 3 innings of those?
No, I didn't watch the first 2 games. I was still like very depressed. Very depressed. But then I turned it back on. I was like, you know what? The Nationals are a fun team to watch. They really are. Strasburg, did you have any doubt he was going to opt out? One of the best postseason performances throughout a playoff.
Guy's got $100 million guaranteed, and he's willing to bet that he's going to get himself more than that. So,
yeah. I mean, when you go 5-0 in the postseason and win your team a World Series with their backs up against the wall, winning game 6.
Yeah, that was.
I knew immediately. I texted it before the game. I tweeted it before the game that he would win MVP if they won it all.
And then Patrick Corbin actually was a big part of that Game 7.
Yeah.
He came out of the bullpen and did a great job. So he got the win in that Game 7.
So are any of those guys bullpen guys? Was Max Scherzer in Game 7 a bullpen guy? No.
No, but it's all connected to your point. Then you need a Max Scherzer.
You need an elite starting pitcher.
Top 3
and you
guy.
know what? I think
why don't you have an elite starting pitcher and an elite bullpen? Why do you need to discern between the two of them? Why can't you have both?
You don't.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, you asked the question, do you need it? Do you need him to win it? No.
I asked if my actual question was, would the Yankees have been okay if he had left? And the answer is yes.
The way they are structured right now, no.
What do you mean? No, I still think they would have been fine.
Yeah, maybe fine to lose in Game 6 of an ALCS
They
again.
lost Game 6 of the World ALCS with him. They can obviously lose it without him. I'm saying
Because they
with
need
their
a starting
bullpen.
pitcher.
Okay, I'm
You know?
talking about their bullpen right now.
Their bullpen would have been fine. As long as Betances is coming back, they would have been fine.
I don't even think they. But if you look at their bullpen, even without Dylan Betances, I think they're fine.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is just you just wanting to
Fine.
be
Guys,
argumentative about shit.
I'm not being argumentative.
Oh, they need starting pitching. No
They do.
kidding.
They do.
No kidding.
And you know,
Let's beat that horse right now. Let's just beat him.
you want to beat that fucking horse?
Is a startup.
Oh, I need starting pitching. And my
Andy
favorite my favorite response to the Aroldis Chapman thing today is, you could have used the money on a starting pitcher.
Yeah, that's the best. That's my favorite.
First of all, let's assume that the Yankees are operating under a budget, which we don't know that they are. We can assume that they are. We don't know that they are. We don't know what their budget is. Aroldis Chapman is under contract for 2020 regardless if he opted out. I mean, without this extension, nothing has changed regarding that.
I agree.
So the Yankees, it really wasn't even in the Yankees'
I agree.
hands
It's just stupid.
whether or not he came back this season or not.
Right.
It was in his hands. So
His hands. Regardless. As long as he didn't opt out, he was coming back regardless.
So the Yankees could have been like, yeah, you know what, we're going to play hardball here. We're not going to give you an extension. And Chapman could have still been like, yeah, all right, I'll just take your $30 million and play the next 2 seasons. And then what would that have done? You still have to budget that. So it has no bearing on whether or not you can get a starting pitcher that Aroldis Chapman came back, because that money really doesn't kick in for another 3 years, or two years, whatever.
You'd have to imagine that
Holy
Chapman.
shit, dude. Was that a sneeze just now?
No.
What was that noise right there? A
Cough.
cough? That sounded like a siren, man. That scared the crap out of me. You gotta watch
So
that
sorry.
back.
Did you jump in the video?
Definitely did.
You can watch us on YouTube, by the way. Subscribe and watch that guy
sounded-
ride jump.
Sound like a fox screaming or a siren.
You'd have to imagine
Holy
that Chapman has plans to retire as a Yankee at this point, right? He agrees to a 1-year extension. By that time, he'll be, how old did we say? 35.
Wait, so how many years is he definitely on the Yankees for?
3.
Another 3? It'll be interesting to see if he's about to go through that transition where that fastball isn't what it is.
We're seeing it already.
We are already seeing it, you're right, but it's still 97. Like when he's throwing 94, it will be interesting to see if he ever even gets that
I don't know. You think he's going to retire at 34 years old?
No.
He's how
No, he
old
might
now?
if he wants.
He's going to turn 32 in February.
Okay.
So 33 next year, and 34 will be his final year of the contract. So he's going to
And he'll be going on
in
35.
his 35.
Maybe he'll look for a couple years.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
he's-
a little far away.
I
though.
think
We'll
I think
see.
we're very fairly can confidently say that he's done being a Yankee at the end of these 3 years. But I don't know if he's going to look to retire.
at least
that
the
point.
Yankee closer next 3 years.
We shall see.
I don't know. To me personally, I think they might be in a little trouble with him in that final year, because we've already seen a dip in velocity.
Yeah.
There's a lot
That's
of times
why it'll be interesting to see how if he can improve that slider even more. Because this year, right, would you say that this was the best year
By
for his
far.
slider?
By far.
and you have to give him credit.
He didn't
in
have
his-
a slider before this year,
Right.
to be honest. It was
and you
just
have to give him
one.
credit in the sense that he's worked on it
Yeah.
to
And-
make it a good pitch for him.
And to clarify my sarcasm, I know he threw the slider before this season.
It was just terrible.
What I meant was it didn't become
It's
a
terrible.
weapon until 2019. I mean, that thing was lethal. It was lethal.
It was always just a compliment
But
to his
guys, he
fastball.
hung
Now it's a
one-
weapon.
He hung a slider to Altuve. How good of a pitch could
Yeah.
it be?
Well, here's the thing.
True, you're right.
You're right. It
Terrible
used to be a compliment to the fastball.
Mhm.
This year, even without the fastball, that thing was, because there was a lot of games, especially towards the end of the season, that Chapman couldn't find his fastball. He couldn't find the
Yeah,
couldn't find the
game-
plate with his fastball.
That last game against Houston, he
Every
couldn't.
game.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something you don't want to see either.
Very rarely. I mean, honestly, out of every 10 Chapman appearances, 8 he loses it for at least a batter where he can't find the plate.
Oh yeah, at least.
You know what
one
I would
batter.
really like to see him come up with? A two-seamer or a cutter.
Yes.
he would actually be
Cutter.
And
would be
here's
nice.
here's
Maybe
why
a cutter.
I see that fastball turning into a cutter.
Yeah, but here's the
within these
thing.
next
Here's
3
the
years.
thing, and that he would be so filthy if he could do that.
With a cutter?
Yeah, but he just
Yeah.
doesn't have the control with his fastball. Now you want him to put movement on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I do.
he was able to control the slider for
He
most,
needs-
the
if
most
he-
part this
Yeah,
year.
but a slider
I know.
is
No, you're right. I agree.
Sliders.
I completely agree. But that, if Aroldis Chapman throwing a cutter, get Mo on it. Call him up.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look.
Pitching
A sl-
coach. We
a-
need. We
a
do need
cutter-
a pitching coach. Might
a
as well
cutter
get
and
Mo, huh?
a cutter and a slider. I wish I had a baseball. I could be like A-Rod right now. See, this is where you hold for the slider.
Need to
Sliders.
I used to throw a cutter, but it was really just a faster slider for me. I used to have different variations of my slider.
Was Larry fired before or after the last pod?
Well, since we have him next on the next topic,
Every week he does this shit.
Oh, where?
I can't
I
see.
can't see those topics. My bad. If it was flipped, I'd been able. You don't have to. I can't see that far.
Wow, you need better glasses then.
Jumping the gun guy,
Well,
Ryan.
I'm colorblind, so I can't see those colors over there. They're all blending. I apologize.
Anyway, I used to throw different variations of my slider,
Mhm.
and depending on the count, if it was an 0-2 count, I'd drop one in and slow it down. But 1-1 count, I might throw it more like a cutter. Maybe that's what he could do.
Mhm.
He just can't hang it like he did in Game 6.
Okay, he threw a bad pitch. Okay. So we should hang him. We should hang him because he hung one.
Right. Agreed.
All right. So now Ryan, jumping the gun guy, Rye wants to bring this
Yeah,
up.
we did we talk about Larry yet or?
No.
right, cool.
No.
Let's get on some
Grandpa Larry.
Grandpa Larry has been sent to the retirement community.
Yeah.
The
I'm shocked he's not going to Philly. I really am.
Did they hire someone yet?
No, apparently he's not. Apparently he's not going.
Girardi passes. Yeah. Huh? Okay. You passed.
Really? He passed.
He dumped them.
Yeah, but that could be bullshit.
He's dumped.
So earlier this week, the Yankees announced that Larry Rothschild will not be returning as a pitching coach in 2020, and Twitter threw a giant party because they hate Larry Rothschild. So
He's a loser.
Chris, you had the numbers.
I did, and someone wrote an article and used my shit.
Also, just so you know, the
in my
Phillies
tweet.
hired pitching coach Brian Price.
Okay,
So Larry's
Okay.
out officially.
Wow.
Brian Price is solid. He's okay.
Yeah.
He's okay.
Yeah, I did have the numbers, and do you want me to pull them up? Do you think
It's up to you if you want to read them on the
yeah,
show.
I mean, I will.
Because I always felt that Larry got too much of the blame. And not that I'm a big Larry Rothschild fan or thought that he did an overly good job. I just think that he got too much of the blame. That fans wanted to use Grandpa Larry as a scapegoat every time something went wrong with the pitching. Do you have it?
Yeah, I do. And look, this doesn't, and I said this in my tweet, it doesn't mean that I wasn't on board with Larry going. I'm not defending him in this tweet. I think it was time for him to go. I thought it was time for him to go last year. But I just wanted to point out the fact that he really wasn't that bad. It's all about results at the end of the day, and he wasn't that bad. In his tenure as Yankees pitching coach from 2011 to 2019, this is how the team ranked in some bigger categories. Wins first, saves first, strikeouts first, ERA plus tied for second, ERA tied for fourth, walks tied for fourth, whip fifth. Oh, sorry, walks fourth, whip fifth, innings pitched fifth, hits fifth. In the AL, that's where they ranked.
I don't understand this.
Top 5 in everything.
Is this just the starting pitchers?
No.
Wouldn't everybody have the same amount of innings pitched?
Okay, so this is why afterwards I was like, I shouldn't have really included innings pitched, right? Because I was like, it doesn't matter across the board. And no, that's not true. Because a lot of road teams that are losing don't get to pitch
Right.
that ninth
Only
inning.
8 innings.
Some teams have extra innings, so on and so forth. I shouldn't have included it, but I'm actually glad I did because there would have been assholes out there that said, yeah, well, where are they ranking innings pitched because this fucking team never fucking throws enough innings, even though they wouldn't have thought of it logically in the sense of that we just did. But anyway, in the other categories, this team was top 5 and everything. That doesn't mean that I'm defending him. It doesn't mean I think it wasn't his time to go. Just means, like, calm the fuck down a little.
I think this is Joe.
Okay.
This is Joe Girardi syndrome all over again.
And I'm sorry, someone fought me that he ruined Sonny Gray because Sonny Gray said so. Okay, here's what Sonny Gray's statement about Larry made me throw too many sliders. Here's what all that did. It made Sonny Gray, it proved to us that Sonny Gray is a fucking little dumb bitch who doesn't know how to pitch, who doesn't know how to speak up for himself. That's all it did.
But again, why did Sonny Gray pitch as good as he did on the road?
Exactly. Yeah, right. Was Larry not in the clubhouse on the road?
Did Larry not pitching coach him? Was he not the pitching coach for Sonny Gray for his road starts?
No, only at home.
I don't. This is again. You talk about beating dead horses. This horse, there's nothing.
But you know what? The fans beat it.
There's nothing left of this horse. You can't even scrape up anything to beat on this horse. Sonny Gray just couldn't pitch in the fucking Bronx. That's the end of it.
And it's okay. You want to know why? Because he's gone. So stop bringing him up.
Larry
in
ruined
arguments.
Sonny Gray.
Right.
If you look at Sonny again, look at Sonny Gray's road splits. If Sonny Gray pitched to that across, even comparable to
He
that,
would have been
at
a Cy
home,
Young Award winner.
he'd still be here.
He would have been.
He couldn't pitch in New York. He couldn't pitch. It's not that he couldn't pitch for the Yankees. He couldn't pitch in Yankee Stadium.
Right.
I want a Larry Sonny reunion in Cincy. Maybe you can go be the pitching coach out there.
Imagine he'd be like, no.
No, because
Sonny
they
would freak.
Well,
they brought in Sonny's like babysitter from second grade to be his pitching coach.
Well,
so.
guys, I had a really good year last year, and I'm just thinking maybe it's not the best time to bring Larry here.
I just don't want to hear Sonny Gray as the reason why Larry Rothschild wasn't a good pitching coach.
No.
And look, Sonny Gray was really good this year. He pitched to he had a sub-3 ERA in Cincinnati this year.
Dude, he was great. He was phenomenal.
Why?
All-star.
Why? How
Right.
many people paid attention to Sonny Gray this year?
3.
I actually probably 5 to 10,
Sonny Gray had a
and they were all Yankee fans.
2.87
and they were
ERA
all
this year.
and they were all Yankee fans going, "Look how good he's doing." There's no Larry. Look how good he's
He
doing.
had 205 strikeouts,
People in Cincinnati didn't
175
even
innings.
know. People in Cincinnati didn't even know they got him.
So I mean,
They were like my mom every Yankee game. Literally every fucking Yankee game. She could
you're
watch
right.
20 Yankee games in a row. Who's this? Is he new? Ma. It's fucking Didi Gregorius. Okay? He's been on the team for fucking 5 years. When they get him.
5
That's-
years ago.
That's Reds fans when Sonny Gray pitches.
and his walks were down because if you look at it, he pitched. I don't know how you would prorate this, but
He
had
wasn't trembling on the mound.
he had 68 walks in 175 innings, and he had 57 walks in 130 innings the previous season.
Yeah.
So obviously, to me, that would seem like his controls was a little bit better this year. His
Only
whip,
3 more home runs in 45 more
his
innings.
whip was down. I mean,
Everything. Larry.
yeah, well, yeah, his walks per 9 were down. It's 3.5
Yeah.
this year to 3.9 last year. His strikeout per 9 was up by 2 full strikeouts.
All-star.
Fucking Larry, man.
It's Larry's fault.
Larry.
Well, Larry can go somewhere else and ruin another starting pitcher somewhere.
Yeah.
So apparently, if you believe what was said out there, maybe it seemed like the Yankees, it had nothing to do with the postseason. And I don't think it would have been fair to get rid of Larry off the postseason because, again, as we stated, it's not really the reason why they lost the series. Pitching, I think their pitching did well enough to get them to the World Series, but they didn't hit timely in a timely fashion. The issue seemed to be that, or they said that it was kind of decided upon during the year that they were probably going to move away from Larry in 2020 because they wanted more of an analytically driven pitching coach. So
I mean, it was just time. It was time.
there's an analytically driven pitcher that calls the games for the Yankees that a lot of the fans are clamoring to be the pitching coach. So, I mean, David Cohn, is he a candidate? I don't know.
No. Sounds like it's going to be a college coach. They're like very high on these college pitching coaches. I guess maybe they're coming up a different breed with the analytics. I don't know.
See, now the question is does Cashman trust Boone enough now that he doesn't need a veteran presence in the dugout anymore?
Probably.
In his third year.
Probably. And I just think Coney, I don't get me wrong, I would love to wake up and see that headline.
University of Michigan pitching coach and Arkansas University pitching coaches were interviewed apparently for the Yankees opening.
Chris Fetter, apparently, they love. But anyway, don't get me wrong. I would love to see that Cone.
He knows Chris Fetter personally.
Yeah, well, they have the same first name. So.
Yes, would be the pitching coach. I'd love to see that. But Cone has kind of a track record in the clubhouse as a player. Like, he didn't get along with everyone. And I don't know if that's something they'd be nervous about, that he would kind of ruin that chemistry.
Oh yeah, you heard that?
No, that's just my own opinion.
He didn't get along with everybody. Where'd you get that
he
information?
openly talked about.
Oh yeah, where? When did he say that?
Relationship with Jorge Posada, and that he was a dick when he was hitting his veteran years.
Okay.
He was a dick in the clubhouse to a lot of guys because he was frustrated.
Okay.
And took it out on a lot of guys in the clubhouse when he shouldn't have.
Okay.
He personally went and apologized to Jorge Posada.
Okay. So
for how he treated him.
That's interesting. So that means that he's going to be a dick to everybody now.
No.
I like how you jump to conclusions.
I'm not one of these people who live in this country who just haven't.
Now we're going to go on this.
Okay.
I live in the country.
I'm just saying maybe that's something that they're like, you know what? Maybe Coney's a little, even though he's new school with analytics, maybe he's a little too old school for us in that sense.
So the Twins were the first team to really start this new trend of pitching coaches from college.
Collage.
And this guy that they hired, what's his name here? Wes Johnson.
Arkansas.
He was Arkansas, and that's where the guy that the Yankees are interviewing is from, right? So maybe they know they got some something brewing over there in the Razorback country.
In Arkansas?
Well, that's all they have out there, right?
Yeah, they got.
They don't really do anything else.
Sports, yeah.
They farm and they play baseball
and
football.
So that's pretty. I mean, if they're interviewing two of those guys, it certainly looks like that they're headed towards that direction of getting a younger guy from this new age of baseball, more the analytically driven, type of coach.
Okay.
All right. Tony Brooklyn, go ahead.
I just think that if they don't change the bench coach, it just kind of says that they're at a point with Boone now where they don't feel like he needs that veteran with him anymore. Because that was kind of what you heard of why they kept Larry around too.
I think that was open. I think they were open about that veteran presence.
Maybe Boone was like, yo, fuck this guy.
Yeah, probably was. He's like, dude, he's old. He fucking falls asleep
He
in the middle of the
smells
game.
odor
He smells
to
like
him,
shit.
Yeah, it's like he smells like half-eaten Werther's Originals, and I can't deal with it. Like, that's,
It's like I got to fight the guy just to make a fucking mound visit. He doesn't want to walk out there.
I caught him eating fucking mothballs in the clubhouse one day.
Meanwhile, the Mets had a fucking 98-year-old pitching coach who fucking sprinted out to the mound and turned the rotation around.
Grandpa Larry.
Grandpa.
So, yeah, Larry's gone. So now it's one less thing for everybody to complain about.
No, we'll find another. Don't worry.
Larry. Just, again, I don't think that Larry was the as bad as a lot of fans made him out to be. But again, I'm not crying that he's gone. So can move on from the Larry Rothschild era of Yankee baseball.
See ya.
I'm going to talk a little Metsies here before we get to the Keep 'em Dump 'ems. The Mets hired a manager on when did it come out? Thursday, Friday?
I think it was Friday.
I think it was Friday.
Carlos Beltran is the new manager of the New York Metropolitans, and for once, I'm not going to rip the Mets. I actually really like this hire for them.
Yeah, if you weren't going to go with Girardi, he was the next guy. Like,
Because
if they did go with Perez, like we were all reading, that would have just been the fucking epitome of the Mets. organization.
It showed what Brian Cashman thought of Carlos Beltran, that he gave him a job immediately after interviewing for the managerial position. And it said that it was really down to him and Boone when the Yankees hired Aaron Boone. And look, Aaron Boone's done a great job. I think we've all agreed. But when the interview process was going on, I wanted Carlos Beltran here over Aaron Boone. And now the Mets have hired Carlos Beltran.
I'm hearing they could be reaching out to Collins to be a bench coach.
Oh,
Yeah, I
you
heard
heard
that
that.
too.
You were the only one that heard that.
No. You're
Which,
such a dick today.
If I'm Terry
You better
Collins,
change your fucking attitude.
Oh, here we go.
I would not be able to accept that job.
Why?
Trigger.
What's he do? What's Terry Collins doing?
I
He's-
can't.
What's he going to go golfing with Larry Rothschild this
No, he
offseason?
works
No,
for the
at
Mets.
that point, yeah, it's that's a boost to my ego at that point. I don't
But
think
where
I want
else
to.
is he going?
Just I wouldn't want to
He
be a
wants to
bench.
be back on the field.
I wouldn't want to be the bench coach for a team that I was once the manager for.
Yeah, but he already works for the
I know
Mets.
you're right. Honestly, I forgot that he was working for the Mets. So you're
I
right.
had no idea he was working for them.
But back in the uniform on the bench.
Uh,
But no, I honestly when I had that thought, I didn't take that into consideration. So maybe that already is in the past.
I do think this is a very good hire for the Mets. Now,
It was their best hire given.
I have a question though.
see.
Weren't there reports that Eduardo Perez was supposed to have the job, or those were just rumors?
Yeah, no. People were tweeting that it seemed like he had been the front runner, but it
Fell
really,
through.
I guess nothing came of that.
I thought it was going to end up being Bogar. I thought that's why they were waiting to make an announcement. They were waiting to interview him.
Who? Sorry, I didn't hear you.
The Nationals first base coach.
Oh, okay.
He's Nationals first base coach?
Yes.
I mean, Beltran, he was big with tip and pitches. I think he helped Severino, right?
Paxton.
And Paxton this year. So I think he'll be a great player manager, somebody with experience on the field, and then with working with Cashman, now he has experience off the field. It's going to be. I think it's a good hire.
And
I agree.
he's just always been a guy that everyone's loved.
And
Good clubhouse
He knows
guy.
the game too. You think he's in the Hall of Fame?
Close. It's
close.
close.
That's a close one.
I don't think he makes
Switch
it.
hitter. What?
Center fielder.
World Series champ, right? He won it with Houston.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
His position is going to hold him back
And you know what,
because
too?
some of the all-time greats are center fielders, and he just doesn't have the numbers to stack up against
And
them.
you know what, too? We all hate Mets fans, but if the Yankees were to get eliminated in the years to come in the playoffs and the Mets were making a run, I'd actually be rooting for them, for him to win it, because I love Beltran. I always loved him here. So, gives us a little incentive, too.
Oh, Bobby Abreu is going to make the Hall of Fame this year.
We got
Oh, for
2020
sure.
eligibles: Derek Jeter, Paul Konerko, Soriano, Cliff Lee,
Do we have back-to-back unanimous votes?
Jason Giambi,
Gian-
Adam Dunn. Adam Dunn's an interesting one.
Oh, he sucks.
If Jeter went home,
Yeah. Soriano.
if Jeter went home and hibernated for the last 5 years, how many years? 5. And didn't say a word, didn't do anything, he'd probably be another unanimous vote. But I think that there will be writers now that vote no.
Go scroll down this whole list here. Yeah, you know what? If they
Beltran's eligible in
might,
2023.
he might
by
get
the
in
way.
just based on
With
that.
Jason Worth?
God, Bartolo Colon's not eligible until 2024.
Jason Worth has been out of the league for that long? That's crazy to me.
Based on that list, Ryan, he might get in unless they're
No,
just gonna-
that would mean. Sorry, Christian. That would mean Worth is just out of the league.
2017.
Oh yeah.
Based on that list of newcomers, he might get in unless they're
Right.
just going to put in a bunch of people that hadn't gotten in.
Yeah,
because
because you do have to take that into consideration, not just your own stats, but the other ones that you're competing with to get those spots.
I'm John Lackey.
I'm John. And then you got to consider the ones in the previous ballots
AJ
that don't get
Pierzynski,
in.
my most hated
This is a
fucking baseball player. of
David
all time.
Ortiz is a very intriguing one. I see David Ortiz being the first one that had that. He had steroids kind of connected to his name, but not
No, not
officially.
kind of.
Yeah, I know. But I could see that being the first one that gets in.
Oh, he'll
David
definitely get in.
Ortiz.
He'll definitely get in.
That's 2022.
No, if he gets in, then A-Rod should get in.
Yeah, and then see that's the thing. Then you kind of have
It's like fucking
it's a spiral
it's like
down.
fucking
what's that called?
elementary
Something
school.
effect.
Trickle effect.
Trickle effect, right?
It's like an elementary school. Do I have to do it?
Right.
Well, if I don't like you, if I don't make
Exactly.
you do it,
setting a precedent.
There's this fucking little flag.
Ew.
All right, we getting to the dumpums? You pulling them up, bro?
Can I just say something right here?
Sure.
Okay. I'm not going to give this person's name because we shouldn't embarrass them on the show like this. But earlier this morning, because it happened late at night, I tweeted the news of the Aroldis Chapman contract.
See.
And somebody said, great reward for blowing Game 7.
Yes, I saw that.
Unbelievable.
I saw that.
It is unbelievable because it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Not this year anyway, right? Because didn't he blow at Chicago? He blew Game 7
Yeah,
against
but I don't
Cleveland,
think this
they won it
person
anyway.
is very
No.
aware of what happened outside of this season.
Yeah.
And number 2, okay, I would really hope that if you made an error at your job, that you wouldn't want your boss to hold it against you and not pay you what you were already owed because you made one error.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy had a great season. Guy had a great season.
So we're just going to hold that against him. And it's a little bit different. Like if you are, like an EMT and you let somebody die,
It's different.
that's a little different.
A little more serious.
Like I saved 9 people, but the 10th guy died because I really didn't do my
Didn't
job
really
that
care.
well. Okay.
I was bored.
But
I hung one.
in,
I hung one in there and they fucking killed him.
In baseball, it's a little different. If you make one bad pitch, I don't think it really should hold that against you. That's going back to Beltran here a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it sucked. This gnat flying around.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Nationals won, the Nats.
The Nats are
Nats are here.
What was I going to say? If that happened in a Yankee uniform in Game 7 in the NLCS that year, we'd be pissed off about it. But
When he struck out for the Mets, you're saying?
When he got caught looking and with 2 outs there.
Got him. Killed him.
Cool.
Yeah, we'd be mad about it. But I don't know, man. This guy was one of that team's best free agent signings. He had 3 really, really good years for them.
Oh, yeah. He might have had his best few years as a Met. Can you argue that?
I don't know. Ryan's going to bring up his stats here.
I mean, 3 of his best years.
All right, 06, the year that he got caught looking. 275 with 388 on base. He had, am I reading that right? He had 41 home runs and 116 runs batted in. The following year.
And he finished 4th in MVP voting.
The
that
following
year, that was his best
year, he had 33 and 112. And then 2008, he had 27 and 112. He batted over 275 each of those years with an on-base of at least 353 in each of those years.
He had 3 really good years with some pop in his bat.
So, yeah. I mean, but the Mets fans are going to, a lot of them will talk about him like he was the worst player ever. Yeah, dude, that was a disgusting breaking ball that would have locked up 99% of players.
Was that the year?
And 100% of spectators.
Was that the same year that Roy Halladay threw his no-hitter?
No.
It wasn't?
No, I think that was
because Roy Halladay didn't get
2009?
to the postseason until he left Toronto.
I'll find that. I'll pull that up.
Oh, he was still in Toronto then?
Yeah,
No.
he didn't get traded till what, 2010?
Yeah, I think it was 2010.
And what year was that when he struck out? Beltran.
2006.
Oh, yeah, it was way after that.
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah.
October 2010. So. All right. Carlos Beltran to
Congrats,
the Mets.
pal. Congrats.
Oh, yeah. I hang out with him all the time. Okay. So
Yeah, hopefully we can get him on the air. We could have a weekly
I'll
spot
call him pal because, we're cool like that. Okay.
on air with Carlos Beltran. Okay.
We are
What do you
cool.
think?
Mm-hmm.
My cousin.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
On my wife's side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's not really your cousin. He's your wife's cousin.
No. Married cousin by marriage.
Mm.
Cousin through marriage.
All right, let's go here. We're going to kick off the Keep 'em Dump 'ems here for week 2. First, do you know the results?
I don't.
Not really, actually.
All right.
Kind of do. I kind of do.
There was less interest this week. We still have all scientific polls, but no blowaway polls like we did with John Carlos Stan, where we had well into 4,000 votes. But all scientific polls, so we still did have a good turnout this week. We're going to start with the manager of the New York Yankees, Aaron Boone. Stat Guy Rye, how do you think the fans voted on this one?
I would say 82% voted to keep him.
What about you, Chris?
I'm going to say 94%.
The fans went 90% to keep the manager of the Yankees, Aaron Boone. And I think the fans are right on this. I don't think you can get rid of Aaron Boone right now. And if I'm the GM of the team, I don't know why I would want to get rid of Aaron Boone right now.
And I was gonna say when we discuss Aaron Boone on this show for this keep him dump him, I don't think it should so much be about this next year for us. Like obviously we're gonna keep him, but I think we should dive into what you said a couple weeks ago. Is he in the hot seat if he doesn't win a World Series this year?
He's not in the hot seat right now.
No, I'm saying
That's
after.
why, yeah, but we're discussing whether we're going to keep him for next season.
Yes, 100%. I just said it's obvious we're all going to keep him. But I think could next year's keep him dump him be a little more interesting if they don't win it?
Yes, I think it will be.
Do you think that's realistic though, or do
I-
you think it's just you being a little over emotional about
No,
it?
I think 3 years without winning a World Series is very fair. That maybe you might want to make a switch at that point.
Yeah, I think next season would be the first if they don't win it all to maybe consider him on the hot seat. But a manager that is the first ever to win 100 games in his first 2 seasons as a manager, you can't dump that.
No, it still means something. Like it doesn't matter to us. Doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. They didn't win a World Series, but it does matter in a sense of you obviously have a guy who's competent and knows what he's doing to be successful. He's just. And you know what I thought about Boone, and I never mentioned this on the show. Did you notice how much different he seemed in the postseason? That we love Boone for being the guy who's loose in the clubhouse, dugout, all that. He just seemed so tense to me in the postseason.
Oh, you think so?
I really do. If you really go back, and just his decisions were just so. Some of them were very forced, like taking Tanaka out after 6 innings. Why?
Because that's what they've done. That's just. I don't think he was being tense. I think he was just following.
Okay, Christian. They went to bullpen guys every single game, even when they were winning by 5 runs.
Hey.
No, they didn't. Tanaka didn't pitch a fucking complete game twice this year. I'm not saying you do that, but don't tell me he did that every game throughout the season.
A lot of the times,
he was unhittable.
Yeah, there were times when he pulled guys to go to his bullpen.
Right. All I'm saying is he wasn't that same guy. He wasn't the same guy in the regular season. Maybe that's what he needs to focus on more. Because in the regular season, he's fucking phenomenal. Sure, it's a lot easier. But I just feel like a lot of things were forced. He was scared to leave a guy in too long, which, yeah, he should have been given how he managed 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But he still lost himself a little bit where he was almost second-guessing himself and didn't want to be wrong.
So would you say that, though, that he was a better manager in his second year than he was in his first year?
100%, not even close.
So look, that's one of the risks you take when you're bringing on a new manager with an already established team. He needs some experience as well. So this third year, hopefully he can improve even on how much he improved in his second year. And I really think that this postseason really dispelled this whole narrative that a manager isn't as important in baseball anymore. Christian, what was that one quote during the year? What was Aaron Boone called? He was something with Brian Cashman's like henchman or something.
Puppet.
His puppet. I think this postseason totally dispelled that narrative when you saw what AJ Hinch's move in Game 7 to take out Greinke
Game
with
1
80
to
pitches.
Game 162, not important.
Agree. I think
October, they make all the difference.
I think the breakdown of analytics and managers can be compared in adverse effects, where analytics are very driven and can win you games in the regular season, but they get dumped away in the postseason. A good manager maybe isn't as important in the regular season, but it's friggin' really important when you get to the playoffs.
And just to piggyback on that, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought I heard that AJ Hinch isn't really an analytical guy.
I'm not sure.
Compared to the rest of the league.
I would guess he is more analytically driven since he's one of the
No, I'm almost positive he's like a not really an analytical guy. He doesn't really manage that way, and I don't think they force him to. But I could be wrong. Almost positive.
We'll Ryan read on that because I think you are wrong on that. What were we talking about?
We were just talking about the importance of a manager in the postseason. Did Aaron Boone do a better job this year? Yeah,
I think that he did a much better job in the postseason this year. I also think that maybe now next year they can let him, with 2 years under his belt, maybe go with a little bit more of his gut, because like we saw with that Tanaka game. Let him go another inning. Let him go another 2 innings. But I don't think that was him being unsure of himself. I think that was just him following what the numbers are.
And at the time,
and you wanted to get that first win in the ALCS under your belt, and you know they have numbers to show what Tanaka does third time around, and they didn't want to push it. Hey, you know what?
And it's not the reason they lost, right? It's not the reason at the end of the day they lost, and I'm not saying that. And at the time it happened, I didn't think twice about it. I was just like, you know what? You got good 6 out. I was just using that as a point that I feel like he was a little tense in that moment and said, all right, we better get Tanaka out there because if he goes back out, starts giving up base hits, we lose this game, we're fucked. And that's really not Boone, right? Boone has always been, there's one thing you could say about him, it's what everyone else says.
Didn't you want him to manage with a sense of urgency? Everybody said it was too late back
but there
in the
wasn't
postseason last
urgency
year.
there.
Yes, there was.
No, there wasn't.
Chris,
in the situation of the game, no, there wasn't. They were up by how many runs,
It doesn't
Christian?
matter. They had a plan put in place.
No, urgency is when Tanaka comes back out and gives up 2 base hits, and he still has no one warming up.
He was trying to
That's
avoid,
fucking urgency.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
and he was trying to avoid that, wasn't he?
But why? Let the guy go out there who has been lights out and keep throwing him. I'm not arguing. Here's my point. I'm not arguing the call. I'm arguing his intentions. And that in the regular season, Tanaka's going back out there.
Maybe.
No, definitely.
We've seen him do. We've seen it on both occasions. It's not 100% given that Tanaka was going to go out there and pitch if that game was in May or June or July. We've seen him pull him after 60, 70, 80 pitches. We've seen him let him go and throw a complete game. There's really no set way of saying, oh, Tanaka, if that game was a regular season game, he's definitely going 9. No, because how many times have we seen? We look and go, Tanaka, he only threw 82 pitches and he came out of the game.
You want to know Boone's best game he managed all postseason? Game 5. I thought he did a great job. He didn't go crazy with Paxton. He let the guy pitch. He let him go. And he knew it was his time to come out after that ball just missed being a 3-run home run.
And in game 2, if that's a regular season game, he's not taking James Paxton out in the 3rd inning.
No, but that's a good move. That was urgency.
Yeah.
That's urgency, Christian. Not up 5 runs with a guy who's given up 1 hit or 2 hits.
He was being proactive.
I don't need him to be proactive there, though.
Hey, genius. Do you
be proactive when you need to be. That's my point.
Hey,
he
genius,
was being proactive in spots that he didn't need to be.
No, he did need to be, because now that I remember correctly, they said that Tanaka was running on fumes at that point, regardless of how many pitches that he threw. Okay, so you're going to throw him out there. You're going to start letting them build up some momentum. He felt that the guy was done at that point.
If that's the case, then absolutely 100%. If you're just taking him out because he's coming up on the 3rd time around, and
which
you don't
is
want
probably
him,
also a factor in it too.
But if Tanaka was truly tired and couldn't come back out,
yeah, well,
then that's a different story completely.
So I don't think there was anything wrong with that. If knowing what we know.
Just to get back on Hinch for a second, Astros manager. He was
You gonna get back on Hinch?
yeah, why not? He worked for the Diamondbacks in their front office. He was the director of player development for 3 years there, and he was assistant GM for the Padres. So he does seem to have an analytically driven background, but sort of a hybrid in a way where he does have experience also on the field. So I don't know. I would have said that his analytics background was a big part of him getting that Houston job.
Yes, they're an analytical. They do have analytics running through that organization. Okay, but they trust Hinch to a little bit more now at this point. But he left Garrett Cole in the bullpen in Game 7.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't hate that move, by the way.
I don't hate it.
Who did he go to?
Harris.
Well, Harris, right?
I don't hate it in the sense that I'm not I wouldn't anticipate Cole coming in to pitch out of a stretch in that situation with a runner on, considering that he's never done it before. But even after they give up the lead there, 3-2, going into what? That was the 7th inning or the 8th?
Yeah, then you got to go to him.
Even though you still probably should go to Cole there because, yeah, they didn't score the rest of the game, but we all know once
they broke it open.
Once Washington tacks on there, and it's 6-2 was the final.
Yeah,
The game's over.
Yep.
You keep it 3-2 with Cole dominating people. You know,
'Cause here's
it
my-
changes the flow of the game.
Here's
a
my
little
thing
bit.
where I will defend AJ Hinch here. How good was Will Harris? We just talked about it. How good was he all postseason?
Yeah, but he gave up a home run the night before
yeah,
too.
but still,
Yeah.
I mean,
And
he's
he
been
even
your
told
guy.
John Smoltz that and Joe Buck that he felt that Harris was running out of gas.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Yeah, I'm taking the sample size there. I'm going with Garrett Cole over a guy that has looked good.
that's
in 2
what the issue
series.
was, is that he went out and he told he was telling people that he felt that Will Harris didn't have much left, and then he brought him into that situation.
Oh, it backfired.
All right, so we're all in agreement to keep Aaron Boone.
Yes.
All right, so give me a Patrick impersonation.
Hey, fellas.
Hello, fellas.
Haven't slept in 30 days.
30 days, fellas.
Okay, so Patrick says keeping him, but has to bring 28 home next season, or somebody's about to get fired. Here, Jacob Navarro says he overmanaged and lost us the series. I don't know what fucking series you were watching, bro. I don't think that is even remotely true.
Yeah, I don't think Boone's decisions played a major impact, had a major effect on this outcome.
Really, what did he do? Give me a situation where you felt that he cost them a game in the postseason.
Zero situations. He didn't have the fucking bat in his hand when Gary and Edwin Encarnacion came up with runners in scoring
So you
position,
wanted
bases
him to
loaded.
bench Gary Sanchez, but isn't that undermanaging instead of overmanaging because he didn't do anything? I don't know. I'm sure if we really picked apart the series, somebody will come up with something. Nothing was really glaring.
I think there was maybe one time he went to Ottavino or he didn't go to Ottavino.
Okay,
at one point.
Ottavino, he was a little stubborn with using Ottavino.
It was game 2. Game 2.
That's it.
He went to Ottavino and Ottavino gave up the home run. And
It was the Chad. All right, you want
Chad Green
the
was
Chad Green
good.
scenario in game 2.
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
All right, so
but they don't lose the game on that. I'm sorry.
because Chad Green was so good in game 2, and he would he have gotten another inning? I don't know. That's not really how the Yankees used Chad Green all year. So I don't know. Let's get one more here. Johnny K says, I think he gets one more season, although he gets a lot of accolades for a successful season despite all the injuries. His ever-shifting batting order makes you shake your head. Not great bullpen management. The Yankees had how many players on the injured list this year?
A record amount.
Okay, so
Like 30.
they really didn't have the opportunity to keep a batting order all season long. And yeah, granted, they're in the postseason. Maybe you want to
Granite?
fucking snap you. You want to say why did he keep moving Gleyber Torres around? Okay, you want to give him a demerit for that. I guess you can do that because he should never really move Torres out of the 3-hole.
Yeah, maybe some of his lineup decisions were
But
questionable.
his bullpen management, what was wrong with his bullpen management?
At the
this
end
year?
of the day, we're just it's honestly it's
I think that's a weak
mind-blowing.
narrative. I think
It
that's a
is.
weak narrative that came over from last year,
Right.
where he wasn't that great with the bullpen. I think he did a good job this year. The only time that he allowed somebody to pitch 3 consecutive games out of that bullpen was Tommy Kahnle in games 4, 5, and 6.
Yep.
That was the
All
only time
year.
all year. He did as good of a job as he possibly could have done of keeping
Absolutely.
that team, keeping
they were
that
the-
bullpen fresh.
They're the only team in baseball to not do it.
Boone should be the last person you're blaming for this postseason. Honestly, he wasn't perfect, but
No, end of the day, the players didn't perform when they
Players.
had to.
All right, let's move on to James Anthony Happ. How did the fans vote on Happ?
ooh, I'm
Chris?
gonna say 64% dump.
Ryan?
I'm going 73% dump.
Ryan was closer, 71% dump for J Happ.
So they're not happy with Hap.
No.
I don't blame him.
Happ was better in the second half of the season, but as we always say here, when we do keep him, dump him, if you are the GM, what would you do? And I would trade J Happ.
Who are you trading him for?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Just get him out.
I don't think he's a fit on this team. I think I'm looking for a bigger upgrade. And somebody asked me this today. Do I consider Zach Wheeler an upgrade for the Yankees?
Absolutely.
Yes, I do.
Yes, that's an upgrade.
He's not the upgrade that you're looking for, but is he an upgrade? Yeah. So if I'm good, if it comes down to signing Zach Wheeler or keeping J Happ, what are you going to do?
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
You want to
sign
argue
Wheeler.
it that way? It's not even close.
But even if that's not on the table, wouldn't you just want to get rid of J-Hap at this point?
I think there's certain guys you got to move on from, and J-Hap is absolutely one of them.
All right, the Yankees, what does he owe? $17 million for this
Yes.
year. He's got an option for next year.
Yes, if he makes 27 starts or throws 165 innings, that option's
Okay,
picked
so
up.
the Yankees, if he's on this team, the Yankees are going to choke down his innings, so he can't make that number one, because they're not going to want to deal with him in 2021. And number two, eat some of the contract. Take $7 million back and trade him, and maybe you get a little bit better of a prospect back.
Eat it.
Right. See, for me, I'm keeping J-Hap. But if they can somehow manage to trade J-Hap, then yes, I would do that. But as far as dumping him and just cutting ties with the salary, I can't do that. You know, he's getting paid $17 million this year. So what I would do if I was the Yankees, I would stick him in the bullpen, feature him as that Nestor Cortez of 2019, a lefty long reliever. You have to pay him anyway, so you might as well make some use of him. And then by sticking him in the bullpen, that allows you to make sure that he won't get those 27 starts and he won't throw those 165 innings, which will then make it easier to cut ties with him the following year where they won't have to pick up that option.
It's clever, but, Nestor Cortez only had that big of a role this year because they use an opener so much, and you're hoping that they're fucking not going to do that again this year.
Yeah.
But you do need a long reliever, so I mean,
I'm sure Luis Cessa is still going to be around.
Yeah, no, I know. But I still see them using an opener role next
year. If
year.
you can shed $10 million or more,
that's
and
what
you
it
have
comes
those
down
other
to.
guys in your bullpen that you're confident in, that you've gone to, get rid of them. I mean, let's not just throw them in the bullpen at this point.
But you can't forget, though, then his contract might have to be restructured in some way because they have that option on there. So is that a Yankee option, or is that, whatever team he goes to, that's an option. So, it's going to be more than just taking $10 million that the Yankees are going to have to consider. It's going to be more like $27 million because they're going to have to consider him hitting his option next year.
Let the team worry. Let that other team worry about it.
See, because then if I'm the other team trading for him, I am making sure that he hits 27 starts or throws 165 innings. So it'll force the Yankees to maybe have to pay more.
No, you can't negotiate an option.
I don't know. That's why
that doesn't exist.
It does exist, but it's just not in fruition
under
yet.
certain circumstances.
So I don't know. Right, but it's
that
still
option
is
has
on
nothing
paper.
That
but
option
I don't know. Right.
That option would have nothing to do with the Yankees. The Yankees would just give them whatever they would agree upon.
Right. Yeah, I figured. It's something to consider, I guess.
But no, I would get rid of him. I just don't want him here, to be honest. And I thought it was a good idea to bring him back, but after last year, I just don't want him here anymore.
Yeah. Give me some comments. Sure, they were filthy.
Let's get some good ones. Dave Chapman says,
This is Aroldis' cousin.
Yeah, he says Rothschild is gone, so keep him.
Okay.
That's
funny.
fair.
Funny. I like that.
Here, CT Mike also says, tough call, but with a new pitching coach, he might be okay.
This is great because it sounds like they're joking, but they're not. They're serious.
Good one here. Tony Palmieri here says, Hap is fine as the 4th or 5th starter. They were 20-11 when he pitched in 2019. He gets unfairly bashed. Ryan, pull up his stats, please. We're not going to
say it again.
He said the Yankees were 20-11 when he pitched in 2019. He gets unfairly bashed. Okay, he had a fucking 4.91 ERA. Okay, is that unfairly bashing somebody?
No, and this is why wins and losses don't matter anymore.
All right,
Should I go to
how
game
many
logs?
No. How many home runs did he give up?
30.
He gave up 34 home runs
His
in
number?
161
Jesus
innings.
Christ.
He gave up 160 hits in 161 innings.
And to be fair, he was much better in the second half.
He doesn't walk a lot of guys.
A lot of those numbers came on the first half.
It doesn't matter.
8.9 hits per 9. That's not good.
No, he gives up about a hit per inning.
Almost 1.9 home runs
His
per
whip
9.
is just under 1.3. I don't think we're unfairly bashing him. I think he was pretty terrible last year.
Yeah.
So his 2020 projections here, Baseball Reference has him up. 4.5 ERA. He's going to give up 29 home runs again. with a 1.3 whip.
Yeah.
So I mean,
See ya.
Are we not looking for upgrades here?
Upgrade.
Right.
So like I said, send him to a National League team. He'll be good in a National League where he gets to probably get 2 soft landing spots with the 8-hitter and the pitcher. Goodbye.
I can see him with Oakland too.
Yeah, that would be a good spot for him.
Yeah.
Oakland's a good
You
fit.
could go rotten.
Even
Oakland.
Tampa Bay.
No, I don't want him in Tampa Bay.
No, I could see him going there.
I just don't. The Yankees aren't going to trade him to Tampa Bay.
Oh, right. It would have to be a trade. Never mind.
And I don't really
They wouldn't.
particularly like seeing him there because he'll probably reinvent himself and be a goddamn Cy Young
Yeah,
Award
no, I
winner.
take it back.
All right, here we go. The Austin Romine. How did the fans vote on Romy the Homie?
I'm gonna say, right, you go this one.
I'm going 88% keep.
I'm gonna say a little more. I'm gonna say 93.
Fans voted 83% to keep
Wow.
Austin Romine, and I'm going to disagree with him.
Me too.
Goodbye.
You're
I'm
dumping?
setting him free.
He's a free agent. I don't see any need to bring him back, to be honest with you. And we've said it how many times. Austin Romine is a great backup catcher. But you're going to have to pay him to stay now. He's going to hit free agency. He's going to want to get paid. I'm sure he's going to want to try to start somewhere.
He's gonna want to go to Pittsburgh and become
I
a
have a question,
starting
though.
catcher, just like all of our other backups.
What was he a free agent going into last season as well, and then he signed a 1-year deal, or was that just the last year?
been a free agent.
And he just keeps signing.
The Yankees designated him for assignment a few years ago. So he just
Right. Yeah, so I guess I think it's the exact same scenario for Austin Romine as it was last year. The question is, does he want to continue to be arguably the best backup catcher in baseball, or does he want to test his luck and try and become a starter
He made
somewhere else?
$1.8 million this year. Okay, so I'm sure he's going to want to make considerable more money and try to be a starter somewhere.
But the catching market is tough. You saw with Yasmani Grandal last year. He was testing his luck to try and get a bigger contract. He ended up signing a 1-year deal with the Brewers last year.
Yeah, but I don't think he's looking for that type of money. I think if he got like 3 years for $18 million, I think Romine would be fine.
I think the Yankees will pick him up. I do.
I don't think they need to.
But I think they will. I'm setting him free. I want him to start somewhere, and I think there's an opportunity for him out there.
There's no need for him because Kyle Higashioka can be your backup catcher.
But I think the Yankees will sign him. I do. I think they really like him in the clubhouse. I think they want him to be a part of this team.
That's great.
I think they like having him as the backup because I don't know how confident they are in Sanchez's health throughout the year.
In my opinion, though, it's not going to come down to whether or not the Yankees want him. It's going to come down to whether or not Austin Romine wants to continue to play for the Yankees. Because how many other teams out there do you think Austin Romine can be a starting catcher? I think there's a decent
Probably
amount out there.
3 or 4.
I think Texas, he could maybe get a job over there. Baltimore, who knows over there.
Actually, Baltimore.
Pittsburgh, yeah, maybe.
That kid in Baltimore is a bust, I'm hearing.
Yeah, even Texas Rangers. I
Like
was
they
looking
had
into
such
them.
high hopes of that kid.
I mean, Romine's has hit in the last 4 years or 3 years in Arlington over 500. So he does very well in Texas. They are switching ballparks, so that's pretty much pointless. But that's for me. I think the Yankees are going to be willing to if Austin Romine doesn't want to make more money and become a starting catcher elsewhere.
I'm sure they'll be like, you want to stay here and make $2 million to be the backup? And he's going to be like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, we got Kyle Higashioka.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service. Goodbye.
And you know what Higashioka hits?
He hits Higgy bombs.
Higgy bomb.
That's true. And he showed improvement this year.
Look, I think if Sanchez stayed healthy all year, for the most part, that this decision would be a lot easier for the Yankees. I just can't sit here and say that you wouldn't want to sign just for one more year a guy who's the best backup catcher in baseball. There's no argument when you have a catcher who hasn't proven he can stay on the field. So you're using Romine way more than a normal team would have to. I think if Sanchez proved that he could stay healthy this year, it'd be a different story.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But they have Kyle Higashioka.
Yeah, but who would you rather expose for that many games?
I would say
Higashioka or Romine.
Right. Austin Romine has been very important these last 2 years of making Gary Sanchez's absence.
It's about
kind
asset
of
allocation. Why are you
don't
going
even
to
notice it?
You're going to have to pay him
Yeah, that's the thing. It's all about the
to
payment.
be your backup catcher. You don't pay backup catchers. If he wants $2.5 million to be a backup catcher, fine, stay, come back. But he's not going to want.
If
I
that's
don't
the
know
case,
him.
man, if you're right and that's the case, absolutely, it's not even close.
I do think though the Yankees would.
It's not even a question.
They wouldn't necessarily match a contract. I do see them matching more in money than they would in years, though.
Look, the Yankees
they'd be willing
will-
a 1-year deal to match that.
They'll be
contract
aggressive
possibly.
for a backup
and
catcher.
I'm sure that he's not going to want to.
Exactly.
Again, I
No,
don't
I
know
agree.
him, but I'm going to assume at this point now he's finally, out there. He can make some money, get some stability, some security in
You
a
know what the
contract.
Yankees have to do?
But though, yeah, Chris, sorry, I was cutting you off.
No, I was just they just have to call him into like Cashman's office, right? Typical, just like classic, break him down, right? Like, Romine, you kind of suck. Right? You're not as good as you think you are. Play him a few videos of how bad his swing looked during some of his slumps and really make him question how good of a backup catcher he really is.
See, but this is an interesting one for me because this is the exact same discussion we were having on him last year. He was eligible to be a free agent last year, and he was coming off an even better year last year than he was this year. He had much more leverage at the end of last season than he does at the end of this season. He's a year younger last year. So does Austin Romine want to be a starting catcher? That's the basis of this whole outcome.
Does he think he can be?
I'm sure he has enough confidence in himself.
Yeah, I'd like to think he'd have enough confidence to think he can.
But you're
be.
talking, again, going back to what you said about exposing Kyle Higashioka. Who cares if Kyle Higashioka hits 140? You're hoping that the rest of the team stays healthy this year,
Right.
even if Gary Sanchez
A
goes
backup.
And
misses
what I'm
40
saying
games.
is, given this past year, that's a big hope.
It is. That is.
It's a big hope.
I think this is but you got to look at it like this. This was so bad this year that it can't possibly be the same next season.
No, it can't be. It can't be.
Well, he missed a lot of time last year, though, didn't he, Gary?
No, I'm not talking about Gary Sanchez.
No, just the whole team in general.
whole
okay,
team in
right,
general.
right. Okay, yeah.
All right, what'd the fans say?
All right. I don't even know where you want to start with this. Here, Will Cedar says he's the only one on the team who can catch. You're a fucking genius, Will. I mean, yeah, because we just didn't sit here and spend 5 minutes talking about Kyle Higashioka or the fact that the Yankees have a starting catcher in Gary Sanchez. Now, if you want to argue whether Gary
his
can
argument,
stay
dude.
healthy, that's a different scenario. But Gary Sanchez as a catcher is fine. I think he showed that this year. Here, JV the Savage, whose avatar is of Elmo, so that's cool. He says, dump. No need. Makes no sense to pay $3 to $4 million for a backup who maybe plays twice a week. You can use that money towards getting Garrett Cole. They can make Hickey the backup at a fraction of the price with comparable defense and more pop. Yes, I agree with most of what you said, except for I don't think that they'll be looking at, well, if we re-sign Austin Romine, we can't get Garrett Cole. I think those two things.
Yeah, but I think he's making a point of just freeing up more money.
I just don't think those two things have anything to do with each other.
Right now, if
those
they're
$2 million.
serious about signing one of these pitchers, it's not about signing Romine, kill us to still sign Cole or whoever. It's more of just like, where can we shed payroll? Romine, if Romine's going to expect that much money, yeah, that's where you start shedding it.
Yeah.
That's where you start shedding the fat.
I think giving him a raise to $3 million, if that's the reason why they can't sign Garrett Cole, then Hal Steinbrenner
Again,
has to sell the team.
Yes, not the reason why they can't sign him. It's just a matter of where can they free up more money.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense.
Big Mike says, why am I not surprised that this many people said to keep him? You all think he's better defensively and offensively over Gary Sanchez? Laughing emoji.
Okay. You know what? What was his name?
Big Mike.
Okay. Big Dick. Listen, don't watch another game.
So stupid.
Please.
You're so dumb.
Please.
How stupid
What's
are
on
you
your
right
mind,
now?
bro?
What?
How stupid are you?
He just said that that Austin Romine is better offensively than Gary Sanchez?
Oh, my God. He's making fun of the people that are voting to keep him that think that he's better than Gary
So
Sanchez.
now you know what I'm going to call you? Big Dick Mike. How's that? Now it's a compliment.
Can we pause it or something?
Why?
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Go. I thought that he was saying that Romine was a better hitter offensively and defensively. So, sorry, Mike.
What are we doing with Ryan?
Just let him go. Just let him go, man.
So what do you want to do? You want to keep going or?
Yeah.
No,
This is a live show.
What are we gonna? Yeah, but I'm sure he wants to chime in on the last two players here.
He can chime in when he gets back.
Yeah, but what is he doing down there?
Is he going 1 or 2?
He didn't clarify that.
Pee pee poo poo.
If he was going number 1, we can wait. But if he's
It seemed like an emergency. If I'm just really taking in all the context clues.
all right, so we'll give him a couple minutes here.
What do you want to? You want to talk about personal shit?
Like, what's personal?
No pun intended. I don't know.
Ryan took a personal shit.
He's taking a personal shit. You gave me those drinks last week, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Christian shows up with all these drinks. The cleans I loved, but this other shit, I almost threw up. What was that? The prebiotic shit that you gave me.
Yeah, you drank that?
I drank 3 sips and it's a hard glass bottle. I almost shattered it and just stabbed myself with it
You're supposed to.
after drinking it.
It's a prebiotic. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's supposed to regulate your digestive system.
Okay, so that's probably why my body rejected it. It was probably the healthiest thing my body has seen in 3 years. I need to lose weight. Will you help me?
No.
Thanks. Come on, let's just go to Dellin. I mean,
Yeah, but that's Ryan's favorite player.
he could go back. He could come back.
Alright.
He could tell us.
He's gonna get. You know, he's gonna be mad when he comes back.
I don't care.
All right.
We're going to Dellin.
You know what? You just talked about losing weight, right? And I'm scrolling Facebook,
Yeah.
and an ad for a gym pops up.
See, they're listening.
It's amazing too because
Whoa.
my cousin and I were talking about buying an arcade port last night.
So like jokingly.
No, they only cost like $400 now.
Oh.
And we're gonna go to Walmart and buy it because Walmart sells them. They sell small versions of
What
them
is
now.
it?
It's an arcade machine.
Of what game?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I love that game, man.
Yeah, and then when I went home last night, there was an ad on my Facebook for some company that sells vintage video games, and
Okay, so let me ask
all
you a
in the
question.
ad were all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games.
Where were you?
What do you mean? Where
when
was
you
I?
decided this?
Huh?
Where were you?
At my cousin's house.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you didn't Google anything.
No.
You weren't looking up Walmart if they had them.
No, we were discussing it.
I don't know.
No, dude, I had the exact same happen to me this week too.
Oh, hey, Rye.
You were talking about listening. They're listening to your phone, and when you
I
get
guess
an
so.
ad. I was talking about how I would do a rowing machine, and I would use like this virtual, like I'd put on YouTube as someone rowing, so it'd be like a simulation. Didn't work. It was stupid. But then I was on my phone, and that friggin' ad for something like that popped up on it.
Yeah.
I never.
I didn't look
Googled-
up anything
Because you went on YouTube, though.
No, I did. No, dude, I'm talking about when I would do it like 2-3 years ago. I would do it, and
we
I
were
was
just talking
What?
about losing weight, and an ad for a gym popped up. I didn't look up anything for a
Yeah.
friggin'
Right. It doesn't
gym.
matter how many years ago it was that you
What are you
YouTube
talking about though? But why
You
am I
YouTubed
getting
rowing.
an ad a week after a day after I'm talking about it?
All right,
I
let's
don't
get to Dylan Betances, okay?
You believe in the Snowden stuff?
Hell yeah.
I'm
Well,
gonna-
obviously I do, but I
wanna-
don't know if
I can't wait till we get like a blizzard this year, and then I get to kill you and bury you in the snow, and then your wife finds you like in
Snowed in.
the springtime.
Snowden.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, Dylan Betances. How did the fans vote on Dylan Betances?
Keep.
86% keep.
Can I say something before you even say it?
What?
Not only am I keep, but outside of the deadline guys of when they need to sign whatever, Dellin should be their first move.
Ryan definitely peaked at my phone because it was 86%.
No, I didn't. I swear.
86% to keep Dylan Betances.
Should have been more. Should have been more.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. It should have been more. I'm surprised it's not less because if you look at his age, is he going into his age 32 season?
I don't really care.
Yes, he's going into his age 32 season. He's going to be 32 in March. Go on Baseball Reference. Let me see some numbers here.
I think it'll actually be the first move they make.
He pitched 2/3 of an inning this year. And why do you think that is?
Struck out too, though.
Because he was hurt.
Yeah, why do you think he was hurt?
Because he's old.
Because of Larry.
Larry, yeah.
Larry's gone, so
Larry's gone,
gotta
dude.
keep
This is a
Dylan.
different dynamic now.
Yeah, but the Yankees also used the shit out of him in the last couple of seasons. Who was the guy they went to in every situation? Dylan Betances.
Oh, hey, Dallin.
Dylan, pitch. Dylan,
My
pitch.
girl, Lyndon.
Dylan, pitch. Dylan, pitch. Dylan, pitch. That's what Dylan does. He pitches. And, maybe it caught up to him a little bit last year.
Well, they have a guy like that now. Adam Ottavino.
Yeah, he didn't
how that
even make
worked.
it. He really didn't even make it a full season.
He really didn't. His arm fell off before the postseason.
Would I keep Dellin Betances?
See,
Yes. Is Dellin Betances going to ask for a lot of money? I'm
maybe
not.
not.
I'm bringing him back on a 1-year show me contract.
Show me.
Show me what you got.
I agree.
I'll give him $5 million, $6 million a year. And if he's Dellin Betances, it's a fucking steal. And if he's not, it's worth the risk. So in the end of it all, I'm keeping him. But I'm not paying him a lot of money.
And the Yankees, too, could really get away with a team-friendly deal because, A, no guy wants to hit free agency. We talk about it all the time. But, B, he's coming off of an injury-plagued season where he didn't even get to pitch. So what kind of leverage does he think he has? Not much.
You never know if another team's going to be desperate or not for bullpen help.
Right.
And
That's what it'll
and when
come
he's
down to.
on, man, he's still one of the best in baseball.
Yeah.
And really, again, Dellin Betances might be asking the question: does he want to be a middle reliever? Does he want to be a closer? I know that he doesn't really have a lot of leverage since he's coming off an injury, but I definitely see a team like Boston offering him more than the Yankees are going to offer him.
What do you call it? Baseball Reference isn't expecting much from him because they're saying that he's only his projections are 32 innings this year.
Wow.
Actually, he tore his Achilles, right?
Yeah.
Or partial.
I don't think it's the typical.
When's he supposed? But didn't they say he'd be okay for spring training? Can you look that up, Ryan?
Yeah. They also said that last year.
But I don't know. I do see him.
Dellin Betances.
I do see him getting. Potentially some money. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be ready for spring training.
I don't know.
Okay.
It just says he should be ready to go, avoiding surgery and ready for 2020. But I mean, if you're getting Dellin Betances, if he's looking like he's going to be Dellin Betances,
I don't know if he's going to be able to pitch a full season. I'm going to anticipate that he's going to throw more than 32 innings next year.
Yeah, that might not be the greatest projection.
And they think that he's going to have an ERA just under 4. So, but still, I'm going to take a risk on him. If he wants to come back on a team-friendly contract, show me what you got. But again, he's going to be 32 years old, man. This might be his last opportunity to get paid. He's never really gotten paid.
No, this is his first year, right? His first year of eligibility.
You look at a team like Houston or Boston that might need bullpen help, and maybe they want to give him 3 years, $21 million, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's going to give him a little stability. It's going to give him, the security that we were talking about, what maybe Austin Romine's looking for, where the Yankees might only be looking for a 1-year, $5 million deal.
You're right.
See, I think it's the same with Romine. The Yankees will be willing to match the money. I don't see them being willing to match the years.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to have 2 guys maybe tied up at big money especially for relievers and going into their age 35 seasons. I just don't really see it. But, like I said, if he wants to come back on a 1-year deal, all right, so welcome back, Dellin. But if not, if he's looking for longer term, I'm getting rid of it.
Which you'd have to think he's looking long term, coming off an injury. He's going to want as much security as possible. So
I think
that will be his best option, in my opinion.
I do think the Yankees will give him the years. I do.
I don't know, though, man. With Chapman locked up for another 3 years, I think Christian's right.
I
don't know if I'd want to.
Ottavino still got 2 more
Britton's
years
got
left.
some
Britton's
years.
got 2 more years
Yeah,
left.
but look, this is the
that's a
window,
lot,
man.
dude.
This is the window now. Right? We talk about the window closing year after year. Well, 2009 just passed. Now the window closed, a little bit more. So these next 3 years are crucial.
Yeah, but you have nothing to go on with him. That's why if you're the Yankees, you need to say.
Yeah, but you know what? He's given me enough where I'm confident that I can sign him for 3 years and not get burned on it.
The one thing you do have to go on,
especially at $7 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's not a big sample size at all. It's literally only 2/3 of an inning, but his velocity was down a bit. I know that. So was Chapman's to start the year, and he got
And
it.
Dellin
up as the
always
year went.
he's
No,
notorious for
I know. That's why I said that's a very small sample size. But 3 years of that, I don't know. It's too much of a question mark.
I think the Yankees will give him the years, maybe 2 years.
Maybe, but I just see him getting. I see him getting a 3-year deal out there.
Yeah,
I think that's out there.
What the fans say.
Vito Sorelli over here. He says, when you get a flat tire, you get the tire fixed. If it can't be repaired, only then you get a new one. Okay, I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
It means that
Is Dylan Betances
he
a
broken?
Flat, is he a flat
Yeah, is he
tire right
flat?
now?
is he a flat fucking tire? Is that what we're fucking?
Then you get a new one, but we probably already have the parts already.
I don't know.
We got those spare tires.
We got spare tires.
Dangerous management here says, as good as the bullpen was this year, it felt like something was missing. He is that something. If he's smart
Absolutely.
and he wants a 1-year deal to get his value up for next year, the Yankees should take advantage of that.
No, the Yankees should take advantage of giving him a 3-year deal right now, because you have to be confident in this guy. He's been so good. What? He missed 1 year. Who gives a fuck? He's still going to come back strong. Why not sign him?
You can't be confident in saying
Look
that.
at these innings pitched,
Why not?
Chris.
If
This
he'll
is why
take,
Christian pointed out, look at these innings pitched since 2014. It's been over 65, almost 60 at least every single year. That's a lot of innings. 90 in 2014, 84 the following, 73, 59, 66.
The only reason why I pitched 59 innings that year is because that was the year Joe Girardi fell out of love with him.
But let me ask you this:
Right.
if he's willing to take $7 a year for 3 years, and you can sign Dylan Betances for 3 years at $7 million, what if he does have a phenomenal year next year and you don't win the World Series? The next year, if you need him as part of your bullpen and he wants that big, massive contract, then you're really not going to be able to sign him. If he's willing to take $7 million a year for 3 years, why wouldn't you do it?
I'm saying I just threw that out as a number. I don't know what.
No,
he's
I'm
willing
just
to
saying
accept.
but that number is very realistic and very reasonable. I'm arguing this as if you're saying he doesn't have leverage right now, which he doesn't. So why not lock him
You
up for
don't
the
know
more
he
year?
doesn't have leverage. You
Come
don't know
on.
what other teams are
Right.
willing
See,
to pay
that's
for
the thing,
him.
Chris. That's what
You
it
don't
comes
think
down
other teams
to.
are trying to sit there and say, "Hey, man"?
So
maybe
then
we
the
could
Yankees
steal
should be
Dylan
two.
Betances
Then the
right now?
Yankees should be two. He's that good. He's that
It's
good.
just the Yankees are
How desperate are the Yankees for
right,
bullpen help
right.
now?
It's a luxury for them as opposed to pretty much every other team in baseball.
They can set a hard line with Dylan Betances. There's teams out there that are going to be more willing to go past whatever he might be worth on the open market.
Completely
right now.
agree.
And he's
Especially
going into-
Boston. Look at Boston. We said it before the year started. What is Boston doing with that bullpen?
I really don't have any. I really think if he's healthy, he's going to be close to what he is. But I don't know if big money, 3-4 year deal. I don't know if I'm touching it. That's what I'm saying. Perfect world, he takes a 1 year deal.
And if you can get him 3 years, $7 million, maybe you consider it. But I think he's going to command more than that. I think it'll be in the $10 million range.
Here's a last one here. Cortijo says, I'm a fan of Dylan, but the Yankees used him like a mule with no regards for him. Besides that, he's on the wrong side at 30. Keep him if the price is right. Otherwise, dump him.
Carrillo?
You know what? You can't read, so don't try to.
Chris. Fetter.
Fucking guy.
Fucking Fetter over there.
J all of a sudden becomes 2 L's. All right, last one here. Gary Sanchez. What do we got?
I just looked at it. I didn't see the percentage. I just
I
saw
think
that.
I looked at it before we started recording.
I didn't see the number. I saw that it's keep him.
79%
Yeah,
keep.
75%.
75.
Fans voted to keep Gary Sanchez.
That's low to me.
I'm surprised it's not lower
That's
because we
low.
all know how much everybody hates Gary Sanchez, and he had a shitty postseason. And even though for most of the postseason he was better behind the plate, he did get a little sloppy towards the end of the ALCS. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was when Sanchez came out, or at least the version that all the fans want him to be.
Kind of the way Christian feels about Cashman and Boone, I feel about Gary in 2020, assuming they make the postseason again. If he's not going to come up big in the postseason, I'm not going to sit here and say get rid of him, but I'm not going to defend him anymore.
Plus, I think next year didn't the Yankees, the last 2 drafts, draft catchers? So those guys would be another year of experience. So, I completely agree with that. I didn't think of it that way.
I'll give him one more.
Yeah, give him 1 more year to really evaluate his talent or whatever, if he has a future. But this year,
The problem with
you
Yankee
gotta keep
fans
Gary.
is that
I think we're just going to go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you look at a guy like Gary and you see the potential. You see how much talent this guy has, and they're just so quick to give up on him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We're not talking about a guy whose talent is up in the air for debate. He is an extremely talented player. He's a superstar when it comes to when he maximizes his full potential. You don't just give up on that guy. Give him 1 more year. The problem with Yankee fans is that they've given up on him 2 years ago. It's just mind-blowing.
I think we have to come to the realization that Gary Sanchez is not a player that's a guy's ever going to stay healthy for 162 games. I think you have to take that into consideration. And number two, again, this is a point that I like to point out to people. You have to take him at what he is. He's a catcher that hits 30 home runs every year that he has enough at-bats in. He hits 30 home runs.
Right.
As a first baseman, is he special? No. As a corner outfielder, is he special? No. As a catcher, is he special? Yes. That bat plays as a catcher. That's something you have to look at. And I think he did enough improvement behind the plate this year. Is he ever going to be a Gold Glove catcher? No. No, he's not. Did he show you enough this season that you feel confident in him, that he at least cares enough to get better at his defense?
Yes. And that's where the people piss me off, saying he's lazy, he doesn't care about the game. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He worked his ass off to prove to you assholes that he is better than what he was.
And when did Gary Sanchez's offensive production really tail this year? When he got hurt. So the Yankees have to figure out a way to keep him fresher. If that means that he only plays
four
times a week and DH is a fifth time, well, you know what? You got to do it. And maybe, then you want to go back and say maybe now you need to pay a little bit more for a better backup catcher. Okay, whatever. But I think really that needs to be one of their focuses going into 2020 is how to keep Gary Sanchez on the field more.
I agree.
What did he play, 106 games this year? You got to get that number closer to 130. 130 for a catcher, I think, is fair.
130. But that 106 is actually high given how many games he missed.
Oh, he played 89 games the previous year.
Yeah, I mean, Gary's got to stay healthy.
I didn't realize he's played 27 postseason games already.
If you're a fan and you want to complain about Gary Sanchez, it shouldn't be that he's lazy, that he doesn't care, that he sucks at defense. It should be that he can't stay healthy right now.
That's his biggest knock for me.
It's
is
his
that he can't
biggest,
stay healthy.
Yeah,
that is his biggest knock right now.
And it's the same type of injury.
Because guess what happens when a guy stays healthy and he's seeing pitches more consistently and he's behind the plate a little more consistently? You get better. You don't fucking get better by getting hurt. Just like Christian just said, he came back from that injury, never was himself again.
He was a monster in the beginning of the season.
Oh my God, it was honestly, it was insane.
And the injury thing, that's bad when you have a player locked up on a contract, but he's still on, he's in his arbitration years. I don't think he's even in his arbitration. Has he hit arbitration yet?
No.
So yeah, that's not the kind of contract you'd be worried about.
If Gary stayed healthy this year, he would have hit 45 home runs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of pace.
Did he hit the most home runs on
him?
on
And I remember
Edwin,
him and Torres were like neck and neck for a while.
Yeah, Torres hit 38 this year.
Yeah, I know, but him and Torres were neck and neck. And
when he was healthy, he was leading the league for.
Oh man, he was phenomenal this year.
He's in year one.
Why do you feel negative about Gary outside of the postseason? You feel negative about him because he couldn't stay healthy. Because that guy we were watching, seeing consistent pitches and getting consistent at bats, disappeared because he got hurt, not because he sucks.
Yeah, he's gonna. Spot Track is saying he should make about $5.5 million this year, and he's arbitration eligible in 2021 and 2022. So, dude, he's gonna be underpaid for his offensive production. I'm sorry, he is at that
completely.
Yeah, so
he'll be making $1 million more than what Romine would have to be paid.
I'm keeping him, and even if he's not healthy again this year, that's something the Yankees need to work on. They need to figure out a plan for this guy to keep him healthy.
100%.
Yeah.
Let's see the idiot comments here. I'm going to read a few more than I normally would because I really want to. Here we go. Gaspo Carrillo says he can play first base.
Carrillo, that's what I was saying before.
Really genius. When has Gary Sanchez ever played first base?
No, yeah, you could just throw him right out there. That's it's more of like an arbitrary position.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to have any talent or anything. You just kind of throw him out there. That's why I was a first baseman.
Webby1515 says he gets one more season to get his act together. If he doesn't stay off the IL, then I'm done with him.
Okay, that's more than fair. And that's exactly what we said.
I think that is fair, but again,
money. He's not going to be making that much still after next year.
Here I think his handle is in reference to failed Democratic presidential nominee Beto O'Rourke, who's at Beto, Texas. He just posted us a screenshot of Gary Sanchez's 2019 postseason stats. Okay, you're fucking cool. Yeah, you're going to get rid of a guy because he had a bad postseason. You people, you don't get it. You just don't get it. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was frustrating to see him be lost at the plate in the postseason, but that's not why you're going to get rid of him.
No.
You don't.
It was frustrating. It was beyond frustrating. But why was it frustrating? If he sucked, if he was as bad as everyone thinks he is, would it be frustrating that he wasn't coming through? No, you'd be questioning why he was on the field. Don't sit here and question why he's on the field when you're telling me he's a great player that just didn't come through.
How about Meowsies? LOL, the Gary bots are out in full force. What the fuck is a Gary bot?
Gary bot. Those are the automatic bots.
Oh, so bots
that come out and hate. No, they hate Gary.
Is it they hate him?
They hate him or they like him? I don't know. I don't get this one. But either way, I think it's a stupid comment. Here, DeSaroner says his defense sucks. His head is not in the game.
That's the one I read.
Okay, bro. Okay, yeah.
These guys just don't know. If you had an open house for Gary Sanchez, you'd have 29 other teams knocking on your door.
Thomas Vino. Yankees might want to think of moving him to the DH position. They really can't. They could. I think he should DH more in 2020, but they can't make him a full-time DH. And he needs to lose some damn weight if they want to keep him behind the dish because he's so fat. Gary's fat. He looks like fat.
Yeah,
bastard.
but he was. You notice how skinny he looked the beginning of the year. Then he got hurt.
When Gary gets hurt, he puts on weight. So again, this goes back to Gary needs to
Staying
stay
healthy. Gary, you fuck. Stay healthy, bro.
Fucking Larry's fault.
It fucking is Larry's
Larry,
fault.
Jeffrey, his home runs can be sexy, but his no contact rate is way too high. We can't have a team of all or nothing hitters. I don't think they had a team of all or nothing hitters this year. I think they were much better.
It wasn't even close.
They were much better in being more productive in big spots and putting the bat on the ball. It's just that they
Wasn't
didn't
even
do it in the
close.
postseason.
Outside of DJ LeMahieu.
Do you want to know? I killed the narrative on Twitter and it didn't go anywhere because people hate being wrong. Everyone's like, we fucking didn't come through in getting base hits. We were too worried about hitting home runs. Okay, in the 4 games, the Astros beat the Yankees. Right, listen to this.
Yeah.
In the 4 games, the Yankees beat the Astros beat the Yankees in the ALCS. They scored 21 runs, the Astros. How many of those runs do you think came off of a home run?
The Astros?
The Astros scored 21 runs in the Yankee losses of the ALCS.
I'm going to say probably 17 or 18 runs they scored off of home runs.
Out of the 21.
Yeah.
15
Yeah,
of them.
I said 15.
Okay. It's a vast,
15.
Yeah, it's the majority of them.
That's an obnoxious majority. The Yankees scored 10 runs in those games. How many of them came off a home run? 8. The Astros hit the home run, and that's what they relied on. End of story.
Let's get a positive one for Gary here. We'll end it here with Mike Frankel, who says, there is no other catcher with such an explosive bat, which is what I keep telling everybody. For a catcher, he is special.
Yeah.
That's why you don't get rid of him. He's young, has a gun, and works well with his pitchers. Another thing that nobody wants to give him credit for, that his
no one
pitchers love
steals
him.
on him. And yeah, his pitchers love him.
Didn't James Paxton credit Gary Sanchez for Game 6 of the ALCS or Game 5 of the ALCS? Did he not go out of his way?
He
sure
referenced
did.
it. Yeah.
But that's just words, Christian. He doesn't really mean
He
it.
gives the Yankees an enormous offensive advantage. He does, because he's a catcher that hits 30 home
Got a
runs.
friggin' cannon.
You take Gary Sanchez's total package and you put him as a catcher outside of really who. If you want to say JT Realmuto, fine, okay. You want to put him there comparable to Gary Sanchez, okay. But outside of that, where are you going? Who's better than Gary Sanchez?
No one.
And if you wanted to make a point last year to dump him when you knew JT Realmuto was on the trade block, okay. But this year, for what? Austin Romine? Kyle Gashioka?
Yep.
You're going to bring in Yasmani Grandal, who got benched in the fucking World Series 2 years ago because of bad defense?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
You know, and I'll close the show on this. You know, I think it was Maggie Gray and Bart Scott that said this on their show, that homegrown players in New York
they did say this.
get more of a leash than guys, and I think they were talking about John Carlos Stanton when they brought this up. They get more of a leash than guys that are brought in here as superstars, which I agree with. But Gary Sanchez does not get that fucking leash from this fan base.
No.
Is it because he came out of the gate like so friggin' good, and then he had such a bad year last year? It's just these expectations are so hard.
Yeah, but look at what he did in 2017.
I'll say this.
I know, but then 2018 was a terrible year.
Yeah,
and
but they were trying.
I know. I'm on your side, dude. Trust me. But I'm saying his incredible start to his career in pinstripes maybe set the bar too high for him, and these expectations are just glorified because that's what we know. That this is that's the player we know, and that's the player we want.
It's
some people aren't good at showing that.
It's two things. One, he doesn't speak to the fans. We've talked about this before. Okay, that's not a knock on someone who doesn't speak English.
He's great on social media, though.
He is. It's not a knock on someone who doesn't speak English. It's just a fact that he doesn't speak to us directly. So we don't really know his personality. What does that do? It allows speculation. And Gary just has this look, right, of a guy, I'm sorry to say, I don't believe it. He has the look of a guy who can be lazy and not care when he, sometimes he has that look on his face when a ball gets by him. He kind of jogs to it, whatever. He just has that bad rap. And he doesn't speak to us directly to change our thoughts on him. He doesn't. And I think that goes a long way. Name another guy who's homegrown that the fan base absolutely loves, who we don't really know their personality. Do you know anything about Gary Sanchez? Do you know anything? Do you know anything about him?
Do you know anything about anybody?
I do.
What does Aaron Judge do for fun?
No,
that's
no.
do
That's
for
not
fun?
what I'm talking about. What he does for fun.
Why? Because you can't hear the inflection in his voice. Because
Christian, I am telling you right now, if you took the words that Gleyber Torres said after that one game when he said the most important thing for me is to be humble and to respect the game, if you took that and just punched it into a computer and had a robot say it to you, you would feel completely different about it than hearing the context come out of that player's mouth. The way he says it, it's important. It's psychology. You don't believe in that shit, but it's real. When Aaron Judge stands up there and he says, you know what, we failed this year and whatever, the way he says that, the way he addresses
First of all,
you,
I never said I didn't believe in it,
is
but I also think it's stupid on the fans' part to feel
it
that
is.
way.
I'm not saying that it's not stupid. I'm telling you why I think he doesn't connect with the fan base. And I think that's a big part of it. We don't know how he feels about anything. We're just hearing words come out of someone else. We don't know how strongly he feels about.
What if he wasn't?
things.
What if he couldn't speak? What if he didn't have vocal cords? Why? So
People
then
would empathize with him.
Okay, so then you have to let his actions speak for themselves, and I think that he
100%.
did enough for me this year to show that he didn't want to be quote fat and lazy.
And
his fucking problem is that he gets hurt too often. That is his biggest knock.
100%.
So you know what, Yankees, don't let Gary Sanchez get hurt this year.
Please.
He's got to play 130 games this year. Even if 30 of them have to be at DH. He's got to be on the field for 130 games this year.
I agree.
All right. So week 2 of the keep 'em and dump 'ems are down. I think the only one that we said to dump were no, Ryan wanted to keep J Happ.
Yeah, I'd vote to keep J Happ.
Did you vote to dump anybody?
No. I'm keeping all of this whole group.
I only want to get rid of Happ, and I think Chris only wanted to get rid of Happ.
You were on the fence with Romine, right?
Oh, yeah, no, I dumped Romine as well. That's true. I dumped Romy, the homie.
Some homie.
Yeah, well,
got dumped.
Friends come and friends go.
True.
Anyway, thank you for listening to episode 150 of the NYYST podcast. Next week, we will wrap up the
Keep 'em dump 'em.
The Keep 'em dump 'ems. We got some bangers in there. Obviously, we gave a spoiler alert that 2 of them are going to be Edwin Encarnacion and Aroldis Chapman. And even though their fates are kind of sealed, we still do want you to vote on if you is up to you, what would you do in those situations. And then can't think of the 5th one off my head. Don't give it out. I know 2 of them.
I know them.
Can't think of the other one right now.
I don't.
All right, so follow us on Twitter at NYY Sports Talk. Please go to iTunes, leave us a 5-star rating and review. Subscribe to the show on YouTube. And it's that guy, Rye.
Go Yanks.
Chris, say goodbye.
Peace!